Hey guys, Coach E here. Welcome to another Sideline Reports. We are here with Coach Rico, very excited, very special guest. I will let him introduce himself in more detail, but he is the varsity soccer coach at Florida High.
All right.
So yes, please introduce yourself.
My name is Manuel Rico. I've been coaching for about 10 years. I started coaching at the YMCA for like a U7 group, kindergartners. A lot of fun. Fell in love with coaching. As a player, I've been playing soccer since 6, between that age, and started at the recreation level. Started playing club soccer, travel soccer. Played at the high school level. Then I actually played a year in college at Andrew College. Had a great time there. Played in several leagues here in town, adult leagues. I still play whenever I get a chance with my team or pick up games. Coaching, I've been coaching at Florida High for about 8 years. Started at the middle school coach, did that for a few years, and I became the varsity JV head coach for a few years, and then I was became the varsity head coach so I've been the varsity head coach for the last 2 years, and it's been a great experience, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I love you have such a breadth of experience, you know, from different leagues, different schools, different ages.
Definitely, yeah.
So that's why we're excited to interview you to kind of get all your insights.
All right.
So who was your most influential coach, and how would you describe this person in one word?
So the most influential coaches has to be Coach Mark McQueen. I met him when I was in 8th grade. So it's been over 15, 17 years that I've known this person. He was an assistant coach at Florida High when I was in 8th grade. I was made varsity team as an 8th grader, so I used to always just hang out with the coaches just because I was the youngest guy, and I really didn't have anything to relate with the juniors and seniors on the team, so I had hanged out with the coaches. And Coach McQueen actually brought me around when he became the varsity head coach at Florida High. He reached out to me and asked me to help him coach, and that changed my life forever. And I think if I had a one word to explain who he is or what he's meant to me, I would say just 2 words: is tough love. I think he's always held me accountable and never told me what I wanted to hear, but told me what is the truth and told me what's real. And I think that has shaped me into the man that I am now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll let you slide with 2 words.
Okay. Thank you.
I know, right? I'm so generous.
Yeah, I feel special.
So, again, you have 10 years of coaching experience. I know this is going to be a tough question, but if you were to kind of pinpoint the most challenging experience you've had as a coach, what was it, and what strategies did you use?
Wow. So there's many challenges as a coach, especially as a young coach. I coached club soccer for a while, and I think the one thing that I challenge with the most, and in the high school level as well, is not taking things personal.
That's huge.
I think you have to understand that they're kids, and they're gonna, who knows everything at a young age, so they're gonna try to figure things out on their own, and not only taking things personal from that perspective, but also taking things personal from wins and losses.
Yeah.
I think as a young coach, I used to take losses pretty hard.
Yeah.
And it's just understanding that it's not always about the wins and losses. It's about the coaching points through those times, adversity, and I think that's what's the biggest challenges that I've had.
I love your point there too, because at some point, I think every great coach has to disassociate from the outcome. Yeah. Whether it's good or bad.
Right.
I mean, even the wins, right? Mm-hmm. It's about that process.
Definitely.
And as a young coach, because I'm thinking now you're talking, you probably started, you weren't much older than some of these kids.
Right. Yeah.
So
at first I was like the cool coach, the young cool
right,
coach.
Right.
Yeah, but
now you're just the old coach.
I'm getting there.
But so that's great advice. Yeah. And that's in life too.
Definitely. I think.
So you've had a decade, again, years of experience coaching, and you kind of touched on that those earlier years and to now. So how has your personal coaching style evolved and developed over time?
Oh, definitely. As I started, I was maybe like 20, 21, 22 years old coaching, and I was a cool coach, just coming out there, cool coach, playing around, showing them the technical stuff. But then as older I got, I had to, have a balance of still being, myself, who I am, but also being firm and being, authority and guiding them, not only what's about on the field, but what's off the field, and I think that was the, something that I've grown into.
That's a really good point about off the field. I know we've spoken about this a lot too, is that when you're a coach, you're invested in that player's development as a human in all of their realms, right?
Definitely. I talked to many players that I've coached my first years coaching, and they're 24, 25-year-olds now, and we still have a good close relationship. So, coaching is just not during that season. It's lifetime.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's so impactful.
It is.
Sometimes we forget that.
Yeah, I think that's the most rewarding one. I think from coaching is just the relationships that you grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of feeds into my next question.
Okay.
So I want you to paint a picture for our audience. Like, how do you know when you're doing it right? Like, what is your moment? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel that lets you know, man, I'm doing this coaching thing the right way?
I say the reaction that you get from your players.
Okay.
The development that you see. I can tell you from the first day of practice to the end of the season, did they develop?
Yeah.
Did they? Because there's no way that a player is going to know everything the first day.
Right.
Right. So even the great players, or the more successful players, it's seeing them overcome a challenge. And then once you see the development of them overcoming that challenge, I think that's the most. That's when I receive one of the most rewarding. Going home and just on the ride home from practice or something, and be like, they got it. They're understanding it. And it's like you said, it's not the wins or losses. It's the development.
That's awesome, and that'll be unique for each player, right?
Yeah.
So you know your player, and you'll know when he or she has developed or overcome.
Yeah. And sometimes it might not be even something that's on the field.
Yeah.
It can be overcoming a fear, overcoming social, being social, and the confidence that they grow as a player. Definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've had a lot of those moments letting you know that you're doing it right.
I like to say.
Well, we had you for a brief time as a coach with I-9 Youth Sports, and that
enjoyed it.
That was so great.
Yeah.
Coach Rico stepped in for us. It was very, very helpful. But you expressed that you've played and coached in lots of different leagues here and elsewhere. So what would you say stood out for you about being a coach specifically with I-9?
It was community based. That it was really Tallahassee. When I stepped in for a coach and I started coaching, I really enjoyed that it was a family environment. Everybody enjoyed the moment. I remember when I first started, when I did coach a team, one of the better players played for the other team and scored a couple goals. Yes, player swap.
Yeah.
And it's just the sportsmanship, just teaching kids at a young age that it's about having fun and of course learning and development, but just having great sportsmanship, not being a sore loser or things like that can really hurt them in the long run. Yeah, I think that's what I enjoyed the most.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just watching them, and he came back on the team and scored more goals. But it's just just everybody was just having a good time, and I think that's important.
That's so good. Well, that's what we strive to do. So it's really nice to hear that from the other end, that it's actually happening.
I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We're gonna get you next season, right? You're gonna come.
Of course.
So last question. A lot of viewers are gonna maybe be thinking about coaching. Maybe they never have, or it's gonna be their first season coming up. So what would be your number one advice for a brand new coach?
To continue being a student of the game. I think that's really, really important. Never think that you know it all. Find a mentor or a few mentors. I know when I started, I still have the same mentors that I've had for the last 6-7 years, and I'm always willing to reach out and ask questions and talk to things out, to figure things out, and not thinking that I know everything.
Right.
And just being a student of the game. Watch soccer. There's YouTube that has so many channels of soccer. Reading books. I read many books about former coaches and just being a student of the game. I think that's really, really important. And be yourself. I think that's the funnest part. It's just being yourself on the field.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach Rico.
You're
It's been
welcome.
a pleasure. We appreciate you. So we hopefully that you guys took something from this. I know I learned a lot every time I speak to you. Always a good experience. So we are signing off. We're going to do a COVID friendly elbow 5, and thank you so much again. Appreciate it.